transformed by the renewing of your mind. The book of James, chapter 4, verses 4 to 10 say, you adulterous and adulteress, know you not that the friendship of the world is mercy we are brought. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Yahweh. From the east to the west, from the north to the south, from the head to the toes, the whole world lies in wickedness. Don't you know? Don't you know? Come up out of my people. Come up out of them alone. Come up out of my people. Come up out of them alone. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. First John chapter 2, verse 16 to 17 say, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man, woman, boy, or girl, love the world, the love of your Father is not in them. All that's in the world, the lust of the flesh, and I begin to say, ooh, Yahweh creation, ooh, it's so amazing, so marvelous. And I wanna thank you for giving me another day. Ooh, I wanna thank you. I wanna praise your name for giving me another chance. I wanna praise you. I wanna give you thanks for giving me your mercy and your grace. As I open my eyes to another day, I see the sunrise, and I begin to say, ooh, Yahweh creation, ooh, it's so amazing, so marvelous. And I wanna thank you for giving me another day. Ooh, I wanna thank you. I wanna praise your name for giving me another chance. I wanna praise you. I wanna give you thanks for giving me your mercy and your grace. All right. We had a total crash. So we see if we can pick up where we left off. Once more again, I'm Brother Yagda Israel from the fourth son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. For questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. That number is area code 331-312-4022. Once more again, for questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. That number is area code 331-312-4022. We can also be contacted by way of email. That email address is YHDHYSRAEL@gmail.com. Once more again, my brothers, my sisters, if you want to drop us a line, you can do that by way of our email. That email address is YHDHYSRAEL@gmail.com. Once more again, the name of the broadcast tonight is Let Your Light Shine. Title of today's teaching is Now the Birth of the Hamashahich. The one you call Sweet Baby Jesus was on this wise. Part number 3, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Like I was just saying, the whole system, everything just crashed on the brother tonight. So I'm up in here trying to reset everything I had all lined up. But we're going to see what we can get into. My brothers, my sister, let's see how much more of this we can get on. I guess this would be part number 2 or part number 3. Hallelujah.
I'm Judah. They call us African Americans today. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Benjamin. They call us West Indians now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Levi. They call us Haitians now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Ephraim. They call us Puerto Ricans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Manasseh. They call us Cubans now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Simeon. They call us Dominicans now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Zebulon. They call us Hondurans and Guatemalans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Gad. They call us Native Americans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Reuben.
They call us Seminoles. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Asher. They call us Colombians. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Issachar. They call us Mexicans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Naphtali. They call us Chileans and Argentinians. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Judah. They call us
Join us on Patreon and become part of our journey to uncover history's untold stories. Your support helps us create in-depth content, bring hidden narratives to life, and keep history alive for everyone.
In the age of artificial intelligence and autonomous machines, humanity stands at the threshold of a new industrial revolution, one driven not by the sweat of labor, but by the silent precision of code and circuitry. The idea that machines could think, move, and even feel in a human-like way has long captivated the imagination of scientists, engineers, and dreamers alike. Yet, when the world speaks of robotics, when it celebrates the achievements of inventors like Nikola Tesla, Isaac Asimov, or even Leonardo da Vinci, it often forgets the name of one man whose ideas laid the foundation for what we now call modern robotics. He was a black man, a mechanical prodigy born into a world that sought to erase his brilliance. His name was Elijah McCoy. Though history remembers him faintly as the real McCoy, his true legacy extends far beyond the steam engines of the 19th century. His innovations created the mechanical blueprint for automation itself, the essence of modern robotics.
Imagine choosing from 100+ meals a week that are healthy and also delicious. Let's be real, Factor's menu is
McCoy's place in the genesis of robotics, one must first step back into the world that shaped him. Born in 1844 in Colchester, Ontario, Elijah McCoy was the son of George and Mildred McCoy, African Americans who had fled enslavement in Kentucky through the Underground Railroad. Canada was a refuge for thousands of fugitives escaping the brutality of bondage, and the McCoy family found safety in the northern lands that promised freedom. But safety did not equate to equality. Black families, even in Canada, faced racial barriers that made education and opportunity scarce. Despite these obstacles, young Elijah displayed a remarkable talent for understanding machines and how they worked. His parents, recognizing his gift, scraped together their savings and sent him to Scotland at the age of 15 to study mechanical engineering, an extraordinary act of sacrifice for a formerly enslaved family in the mid-1800s. In Scotland, McCoy received a rigorous education in mechanical and railway engineering. He studied at the University of Edinburgh, one of the most advanced engineering schools in the world at the time. This was no small feat. Very few black men in the 19th century received formal education in such disciplines. He was trained in the mechanics of motion, thermodynamics, and the art of precision design, skills that would later help him reimagine the automation of machinery itself. When McCoy returned to North America, however, he found that the world was not ready to accept a black engineer. In the United States, racial discrimination barred him from practicing his profession. Despite his international credentials, the only job he could obtain was as a fireman and oilman for the Michigan Central Railroad in Detroit. It was in that position, standing beside the roaring heat of steam locomotives, that McCoy witnessed firsthand the inefficiencies of the industrial age. Steam engines required constant lubrication to function. Workers had to halt operations to manually oil the moving parts of engines and machinery, a process that wasted time and reduced productivity. This laborious task sparked an idea in McCoy's mind, a mechanical system that could automatically lubricate the moving parts of a machine while it was still running. In 1872, he invented the automatic lubricating cup, a self-regulating device that distributed oil evenly across machinery without human intervention. It may seem simple today, but this invention revolutionized industrial operations. Trains could now run longer and more efficiently. Factories could maintain continuous production without stopping machines for manual maintenance. This automation of mechanical motion became a critical principle in the design of modern robotics, the notion that machines could self-regulate, adapt, and sustain themselves. McCoy's device was the first instance of a mechanical feedback system, a principle that lies at the core of robotics today. In robotics, feedback is what allows a robot to sense, adjust, and correct its behavior in real time. Whether it's an autonomous robot arm adjusting pressure when gripping a fragile object or a self-driving car altering its path to avoid an obstacle, the concept is the same. McCoy's lubricator was, in essence, the first industrial application of mechanical autonomy. It allowed machines to think in the sense that they could perform self-maintenance without human interference. That concept, machines maintaining themselves, was revolutionary in the 19th century, and it would quietly shape the next 2 centuries of mechanical innovation. The success of McCoy's invention spread rapidly across North America and Europe. His lubricators were installed in locomotives, steamships, and factory equipment. They became synonymous with quality and reliability. Engineers and railroad operators would insist that they wanted the real McCoy, not an imitation, a phrase that would later enter common language as a symbol of authenticity. Yet, the man behind the phrase remained largely unknown. White-owned companies profited immensely from his inventions, and McCoy was often denied full credit or financial reward for his work. The racial hierarchies of the industrial era made it nearly impossible for a black inventor to gain recognition or control over his own patents. Many of his devices were patented under the names of his employers, and others were outright stolen. Still, McCoy continued to innovate relentlessly. Over his lifetime, he registered more than 50 patents, many of which laid the groundwork for automatic control systems, fluid mechanics, and the basic logic of mechanical automation, all of which underpin the science of robotics today. But McCoy's influence did not stop with the lubricating cup. In 1916, he invented a graphite lubricator that combined oil and graphite to reduce friction in high-temperature engines, a principle later used in aerospace and automotive engineering. He also developed devices for lawn sprinklers, ironing machines, and even folding tables. Each of these inventions displayed a deep understanding of mechanical motion and energy efficiency. What distinguished McCoy's genius was not simply his ability to create useful machines, but his capacity to make them intelligent, to make them function seamlessly with minimal human input. This philosophy of automation, of designing systems that could operate independently and intelligently, would become the defining feature of robotics.
With USAA Safe Pilot, I can save when I drive safely.
With USA
Continuity between McCoy's 19th century machines and modern robotics, one must look at the evolution of control systems. In 1948, nearly 80 years after McCoy's first automatic lubricator, Norbert Wiener published Cybernetics, or Control and Communication in the Animal and the Machine, a book that laid the theoretical foundation for robotics, computer science, and artificial intelligence. Wiener described feedback loops, systems that use sensory information to regulate their own behavior. What few realize is that McCoy's lubricator functioned on this same principle. It was a closed-loop system. The movement of the engine triggered the release of oil, which in turn maintained the system's function. This was mechanical cybernetics long before the term existed. McCoy's work bridged the gap between the industrial machine and the intelligent machine, a bridge that would later support the entire field of robotics. By the early 1900s, as industry moved toward greater automation, McCoy's concepts began to echo through every factory and workshop in the industrialized world. Assembly lines, pioneered by Henry Ford in Detroit, the same city where McCoy worked, were possible largely because machinery had become self-lubricating and capable of extended operation. The philosophy of machine autonomy had taken root. Later developments in robotics, from the mechanical arms of General Motors in the 1960s to today's AI-driven robots in Tesla's factories, all rely on the same foundational logic McCoy introduced: feedback, efficiency, and independence. Every robot that self-corrects or self-maintains owes a conceptual debt to that first automatic lubricator, built by a black engineer who refused to accept the limitations of his time. McCoy's story is also a story of invisibility. Despite his extraordinary achievements, his name never appeared in most engineering textbooks or histories of innovation. The systemic racism of the 19th and early 20th centuries relegated many black inventors to the margins of history. Others, like Granville Woods, the Black Edison, faced similar struggles for recognition despite their immense contributions to telecommunication and railway automation. McCoy, like Woods, represented a generation of black innovators who laid the groundwork for technologies that define the modern world, but whose legacies were buried under racial prejudice and historical neglect. Even today, most people who use the phrase "the real McCoy" have no idea it honors a black inventor who revolutionized industry. In his later years, McCoy's health and fortune declined. In 1920, he and his wife were involved in a tragic automobile accident that left them seriously injured. His wife died, and McCoy suffered physical and emotional trauma from which he never fully recovered. He died in relative obscurity in 1929, just before the Great Depression, at the age of 85. Yet even as his body failed, his inventions continued to hum in factories and railways across the world. His machines kept running self-sustaining, just as he had designed them to, silent testaments to the mind of a man who had imagined mechanical life before anyone called it robotics. It is important to understand that McCoy's legacy is not just technological, it is philosophical. He imagined a world where machines could relieve human beings of repetitive labor, where human intelligence could be extended through mechanical systems. This idea would later evolve into artificial intelligence, the dream of creating machines that think and act autonomously. When we see humanoid robots performing surgeries, drones navigating autonomously, or industrial robots assembling cars with flawless precision, we are witnessing the living evolution of McCoy's dream. His idea that machinery could sustain itself and function with intelligence was not merely an engineering breakthrough. It was a redefinition of humanity's relationship with technology. He envisioned a partnership between man and machine, one in which automation could enhance human life rather than replace it. Modern roboticists often trace their lineage to the 1950s, when George Devil and Joseph Engelberger developed Unimate, the first industrial robot arm. But beneath the layers of circuits and sensors that power today's robots lies the same mechanical wisdom that McCoy pioneered, an understanding that machines could be designed to act with purpose, precision, and persistence. Without McCoy's early insight into autonomous mechanical systems, The very concept of self-sustaining robotics might have developed far later. He was, in every sense, the original robotic engineer, even if he never used that term. Today, a century after his death, Elijah McCoy's influence has spread far beyond the railways and factories of his time. Robotics companies, automation engineers, and artificial intelligence researchers continue to build upon the mechanical logic he discovered. His story reminds us that the foundations of modern technology are not solely European or white. They are global and deeply intertwined with the brilliance of minds that history once tried to erase. The genius of Elijah McCoy challenges us to remember that innovation knows no color, that the spark of creativity and intelligence that drives human progress belongs to all of humanity. The next time you see a robot arm moving with precision on an assembly line, or an AI system making calculations faster than any human could, remember the black genius who first dreamed of a world where machines could think for themselves, not in a lab filled with computers, but beside the roaring furnaces of the industrial age. Elijah McCoy did not just make machines run smoother, he made them smarter. He gave them a blueprint for autonomy, a mechanical soul. And though history may have tried to forget his name, every self-operating machine in the world today carries his legacy in motion.
All right, we back. Once more again, my brothers, my sisters. We had a total crash. Literally, system just shut down everything. I mean, I had to go back and establish things, but we're going to see how much of this lesson we can get in. Title of today's teaching is, Now, the birth of the Hamashahich was on this wise. Part number 3, my brothers, my sisters, my people. We're going to open up in the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse number 12, and it reads, Book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 12. For the righteous spirit shall teach you in the same hour what you ought to say. We believe that, my brothers, whether it be in the midnight hour or in the midday hour, whenever you sincerely strive to seek out the things of Yahweh through his word, he's on record saying that he will send his righteous minister spirit to teach you all things. Let's see, at what hour of the day? We're going to run to Joshua, the book of Hosea, chapter 1, verse number 8 reads, This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Once more again, my brothers, my sisters, this is the 7th day of that great feast called the Feast of Dedication. So it would behoove me to read something concerning the matter. We'll be heading into the 8th day. Tomorrow evening, we begin the 8th day of the Feast of Dedication. The Feast of Dedication, also known as the Hanukkah, is an Israelite festival that commemorates the rededication of the Second Temple in Yaghdad, Judah. Now, if this is the Second Temple, I would imagine it would still have to be the temple that was rebuilt by the remigration back into the southern kingdom in Yagda, Judah, up under Ezra, Nehemiah, Zechariah, and all those prophets, Haggai, all those prophets, seers of the Most High Yahweh. The Feast of Dedication, also known as Hanukkah, is an Israelite festival that commemorates the rededication of the Second Temple in Yagda, Judah. During the 2nd century BC, it is celebrated for 8 days, beginning on the 25th of Cheslu, according to the Shemitic Hebrew calendar, which typically falls in December. The festival includes the recitation of Psalms 30, symbolizing victory and joy. Although not one of the festivals instituted by Yahweh through Moshe, it is observed with traditions. It is observed with traditions such as lighting candles, similar to the Feast of Tabernacle. In the New Covenant, Yahweh the Hamashahich is recorded as participating in the Feast of Dedication, highlighting its significance in both Israelite and biblical contexts. So we are headed into the great day, the 8th day of the Feast of Dedication. We want to put a few scriptures on the table concerning the matter. We're going to run to the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4. Want to peep at 1 Maccabees, chapter 4. Let's peep at this thing. We want to look at 1 Maccabees, the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse number 52. 1 Maccabees 4. 1 Maccabees chapter 4. We want to look right at verse number 52, and it reads, 1 Maccabees 4, verse 52. Now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called Chaslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning. We just read that this 9th month usually falls in the month we know as December. So December the 25th was the first day of the Feast of Tabernacle. And this coming Wednesday evening will be the 8th day. We will be heading into that 8th day. The Feast of Dedication was an 8-day celebration, my brothers, established during the time of the Hasmonean dynasty under the Maccabees, the family of Mattathias. You know, 1 Maccabees 4, verse 59 reads, Moreover, Judas and his brethren, with the whole congregation of Israel, ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, from the 25th day of the month Cheslu, which is according to the Shemitic Hebrew calendar, the 9th month. But according to what we know as the Gregorian calendar, it will be the 12th month, known as December, with mirth and gladness. And we're going to run to the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 10. 2 Maccabees, chapter 10. And we're going to pick it up at verse number 1. Book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 10. Before we go to 2 Maccabees, we come back there. I want to pull out the season in which the Feast of Dedication is observed. We're going to run to the book of St. John, chapter 10. We'll find out what season does the Feast of Dedication falls in? St. John 10, and we're going to pick it up at verse number 22. St. John 10, verse 22, and it reads, and it was at Yokdah, Judah, polluted word Jerusalem, the Feast of Dedication, and it was winter. So the Feast of Dedication falls in the 9th month called Chaslu, which is equivalent to what we know as December. The winter season is when the Feast of Dedication was observed. St. John 10, verse 23. And Yahweh, the Hamashahich, walked in the temple in Solomon porch. So Yahweh, the anointed one, the one you call sweet baby Jesus, he stamped his approval on the Feast of Dedication. And if you follow him, you'll be observing the Feast of Dedication. My brothers, my sisters. And we're going to go back to that 2nd Maccabees 10. We're going to pick it up at verse number 1, and it reads, 2nd Maccabees 10, verse number 1. Now Maccabeus and his company, Yahweh guiding them, recovered the temple and the city. Verse number 2. But the altar which the nation, in this case we know it as the descendants of the Greeks, better known as the children of Esau, biblically speaking, 2 Maccabees 10, verse 2. But the altar which the sons of Esau had built in the open street, and also the chapel, they pulled down. Verse number 3. Having cleansed the temple, they made another altar and striking stone. They took fire out of them and offered sacrifice after 2 years and set forth incense, light, and shewbread. Verse number 4. When that was done, they fell flat down and besought Yahweh that they might come no more into such trouble. But if they sinned any more against him, that he himself would chasten them with mercy, and that they might not be delivered unto the blasphemous and barbarous nation. Who is this talking about? It's talking about Idumea, the Edomites, the so-called white man and white woman, my brothers, the white boy and the white girl. This is who these so-called Greeks are. They trace back to the bloodline of Esau. My brothers, my sisters, my people. 2 Maccabees 10, verse 5. Now upon the same day that the strangers profaned the temple, on the very same day it was cleansed again, even the 25th day of the same month, which is Chaslu. So the 25th of the month called December was the first day of the Feast of Dedication. And we found out that Yahweh, the Hamashahich, the one you call sweet baby Jesus, stamped his approval by going to the temple on the Feast of Dedication. And the season was the winter. My brothers, my sisters, my people. Now let's see the time frame. When does this all jump off? We're going to go to Leviticus 23. Book of Leviticus 23. Then we're going to get us some of this lesson tonight. Now the birth of Yahweh the Hamashahich was on this wise. Part number 3. But we want to run to the book of Leviticus 23, and we want to peep at verse number 1. Leviticus 23, verse number 1 reads, And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, verse number 2, Speak unto the family of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim to be righteous gathering. Even these are my feasts. Gonna drop down to verse number 32. Verse number 32, and it reads, the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse number 32. It shall be unto you a Shabbat, Sabbath of rest, and you shall afflict your souls in the 9th month, in the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening unto evening shall you celebrate your Sabbath. So our Sabbath jump off from evening to evening. Let's peep at that. Deuteronomy 16. We're going to get right down to it. Deuteronomy 16. We want to peep at verse number 1. Deuteronomy 16, verse number 1. And it reads, Observe the month of Abib. Now, Abib is the first month of the Shemitic Hebrew calendar, which is equivalent to what we know as April. Springtime, my brothers, my sisters, observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto Yahweh, your Yahweh. For in the month of Abib, Yahweh brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Verse number 6, and it reads, so we keep our high days, feast days jump off from evening to evening. Deuteronomy 16, verse 6. But at the place which Yahweh thy Yahweh shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at evening, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. Not at sundown. It didn't say that. It say at the going down of the sun. Not night. There's a period before night called evening. From evening to evening shall we celebrate our Shabbat, our high days, according to the word of the Most High Yahweh. I want to grab me one more out of the book of Jubilee. I want to grab me a statement out of the book of Jubilee, my brothers. Let me see. I had all this good stuff set up, ready to roll. But tonight, my brothers and sisters, there was a crash. The whole system shut down on a brother tonight. So I had to go back in and reestablish all this good stuff. But we're gonna run this series for a minute. But we're gonna be tomorrow night. We will be in that 8th day of the Feast of Dedication. So our focus gonna be on that tomorrow evening, on the 8th day of the Feast of Dedication. Now we read that they kept it as the Feast of Tabernacle for 8 days. So we're gonna investigate that with the quickness. But in the book of Jubilee 49, verse 10, let the children of Israel come and observe the feast on the day of its fixed time between the evenings. Yahweh commanded you to observe it between the evenings, my brothers. That's how our high days were established by the Most High. He said he commanded us to observe it between the evenings, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Let's get back at this thing. We're going to run to the book of St. John 14. We're going to peep at verse number 26. St. John 14, verse 26 reads, "But the Comforter, which is the righteous Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you." So we want to peep at this, my brothers. We want to peep at this thing right quick. We're going to run to the book of Psalms. Let me see where we want to grab. Psalm chapter 111, verse 10. And it reads, "The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endure forever." So if you want a good understanding, concerning the word of the Most High Yahweh, you have to keep the commandments. We want to peep at the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 1. Verse number 5 reads, "The word of Yahweh Most High is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments." Verse number 6, "To whom hath the root of wisdom been revealed, or who have known her wise counsel?" Verse number 7, "Unto whom hath the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who have understood her great enterprise?" We read in the book of Psalms 111, verse 10, that in order to get good understanding, we got to keep his commandments. Now let's see what Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, have to add to that conversation. The book of Sirach, chapter 1, verse 26, and it reads, "If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments, and Yahweh shall give her unto thee." My brothers, my sisters, my people. We're going to peep at Sirach chapter 33. Let's see if we can get some of this in tonight. We had the whole system crashed on us tonight, but we are doing part number 2 of part number 3. We are broadcast simultaneously on Facebook and on our YouTube page. And you can get to that YouTube page by going up under the banner of YHDH, YSRAEL. My brothers, my sisters. And our YouTube and our Facebook page is up under the banner of YHDH, YSRAEL at gmail.com. My brothers, Yagda Israel, my brothers, YHDH, YSRAEL at gmail.com. Proverbs 24, verse 27. "Prepare thy work without." So the Most High, according to the wisest man that ever lived, said, you got to prepare this thing. You can't come to the table willy-nilly, my brothers, my sisters. You got to come prepared, ready to go. And like I said, I was all set up, ready to go. But the system failed me. We had a super crash. my brothers, my sisters, my people. I'm trying to get this old mic to act right. It's been an issue after issue tonight. Proverbs 24, verse 27. Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thy house. You can't go trying to build a house and you ain't got none of the necessary equipment, my brothers. Got no lumber, no bricks, no cement. You ain't got no nails and hammers. You got to be prepared when you come to the job. Let's see if we can get a second witness from the book of Sirach. Let's see if we can second that emotion. Go run to the book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse number 4, and it reads, Sirach 33, verse 4, and it reads, prepare what to say, and so thou shalt be heard. Bad up instructions, and then make an answer. You got to come to the table prepared, ready to roll. And like I say, I was all set. But we had a complete crash tonight. So this is part number 2 of part number 3. Now, the birth of the Hamashahich, the one you call sweet baby Jesus, was on this wise. Let's peep at this thing. Let's see if we can get at least we can lay the foundation tonight. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 1, verse number 1. The book of the generations of Yahweh the Hamashahich, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Verse number 2. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob. And Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, begat Judas and his brethren. But we want to look at this word called generation. I want to look up the definition of this word, because we read in Proverbs chapter 4, verse number, I believe, 7 or 8. And all thy getting. Let's go ahead and read that since we so close. But let me lay this in right quick. Let me get this this definition going on right quick. See if I can run this down with the quickness. I want this definition of generation. And we'll be back to that. But we want to run to the book of Proverbs. Book of Proverbs. We want to peep at Proverbs chapter 4. Book of Proverbs chapter 4. And we're going to get right down to it. I believe we want to read verse number, let's read 7 and 8. Proverbs chapter 4, verse number 7. Verse number 7. And it reads, Proverbs 4, verse 7, and it reads, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. So how do we go about doing that? We read that if we keep his commandments, he will give us his wisdom. But we got to come to the table prepared, ready to go, my brothers. Can't be stumbling and bumbling. We got to have everything. Yahweh is the Yahweh of order. So we got to come prepared in order, my brothers. We got to have it all lined up. My brothers, my sisters. Let's run to the book of 2 Timothy. We'll run to 2 Timothy chapter 2. We're going to get right down to it. Verse number 15. And it reads, 2 Timothy 2, verse 15. Study to show yourself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. I'm going to take a pause for the cause. I'll be right back at you. Give me about 2 minutes, my brother. As I open my eyes to another day, I see the sunrise, and I begin to say, ooh, Yahweh creation, ooh, it's so amazing. So marvelous, and I wanna thank you for giving me another day. Ooh, I wanna thank you. I wanna praise your name for giving me another chance. I wanna praise you. I wanna give you thanks for giving me your mercy and your grace. As I open my eyes to another day, I see the sunrise, and I begin to say, ooh, Yahweh creation. All right, we back, my brothers. Just had to take a quick break. Let me see how much of this we can get in tonight. 2 Timothy 2. And we want to peep right at verse number 5. Verse number 15. Study to show yourself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So we got to rightly divide this thing, my brothers, my sisters. We just can't be willy-nilly. We got to get deep into this thing and rightly divide the word of truth. I want to peep at the book of Acts. Acts chapter 17, verse number 11. The book of Acts chapter 17, verse 11 reads, These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, and searched the scripture daily whether those things were so. So we got to put in some. We got to roll up our sleeves, and we got to get busy, right? We're going to go to the Acts chapter 2, verse number 37, I believe I need. Acts chapter 2. We want people at verse number 37. And it reads, book of Acts 2, verse 37. Now when they heard this, heard what? Heard the word of Yahweh. They were pricked in their mind and said unto Peter and to the rest of the apostles, Men and brethren, what shall we do? Verse number 38. Then Peter said unto them, Repent and be baptized, every one of you, in the name of Yahweh, the Hamashahich, the Anointed One, for the remission of sin, and you shall receive the gift of the righteous Spirit. Verse number 39. For the promise is unto you and to your children and to all that are far off, even as many as Yahweh, our Yahweh, shall call. So who is Peter addressing here when he said this promise is to you and your children? Let's see if we can get an answer in the book of Hebrews. Let's go grab this answer. Who is this promise to? In the book of Hebrews, chapter 11. We're going to pick it up at about verse number 9, I believe, is what we need. Hebrews chapter 11. Let's pick it up at verse number 8. Hebrews 11, verse number 8. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should afterwards receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out not knowing whither he went. Verse number 9. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, in tabernacles with Isaac, Jacob, and the heirs with him of the same promise. So the heirs of the promise was Isaac, Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, and the 12 tribes that he produced, my brothers. Let's peep at that thing right quick. We want to run to Sirach chapter 42, I believe I need. Sirach chapter 42. Let's see if we can pull this out. Sirach chapter 42. And let's peep at verse number, I know I need verse number 19. So is it 42 or 43? Sirach, let me try 44. Really is what we need. Verse number 19. Let's see if we can pull out who are these heirs of salvation. Who are the promises made to in the book of Sirach? Ecclesiasticus 44, verse number 19 reads, Abraham was a great father of many people, and glory was there none like unto him. Verse number 20 reads, who kept the law of the Most High and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh, and when he was proved, he was found faithful. Verse number 21, and it reads, therefore he assured him by an oath, an oath, promise, one and the same, right? Let's peep at that. I mean, I know we ain't going to get through much of this. I was all ready to go. Then all of a sudden, about the 40th minute, 45 minute of the broadcast, the system just crashed on me. My brothers, my sisters. I mean, everything disappeared. I had to go back and reassess this thing. My brother had to reestablish, reset everything. We read that we got to come to the table prepared. And my brothers, my sisters, my people. We're going to go to the book, what was here, to Hebrews, right? We want to run back to that Hebrews. But we're going to go to 6. Book of Hebrews, chapter 6. We're going to pick it up at verse number 13, I believe. That'll put us where we need to be. Hebrews 6, verse 13. For when Yahweh made promises to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater, he swore by himself. Verse number 14, saying, surely blessing, I will bless thee Multiply and I will multiply thee. Verse 15. So after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise. Verse number 16. And it reads, for men truly swear by the greater, and an oath, promise, one and the same. For confirmation is to them an end of all strife. Verse 17, wherein Yahweh will more abundantly to show unto the heirs. Who are the heirs? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, and his 12 offsprings, which became the 12 tribes of Israel. Those are the heirs of the promise. The immutability of his counsel confirmed it by an oath, promise, one and the same. Verse 18, there are two immutable things in which it was impossible for Yahweh to lie. We may have a strong consolation. We fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope. That's what we are leaning on right now. Because ain't nobody got it. We are hoping we make it to the kingdom. Ain't that right, my brothers? My sisters, we hoping that we get this eternal life. But one thing we know for sure, there's no other name given among men whereby we must be saved. Hope set before us. Now we're going to go back to that Sirach. The book of Sirach. Where were we at? Sirach chapter 44, verse number 21. So who is the heirs of salvation? Let's make it pretty crystal clear in Sirach. Ecclesiasticus 44, verse 21. Therefore he assured him by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed, and that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth, and exalt his seed as the stars. Very important word there. Seed. Let's peep at that since we headed down that path. Let's peep at that. We got two words on the table we need to peep at. One is generation, and now the other one is this word called seed. We want the biblical understanding of this word called seed. My brothers, my sisters, my people. Let's see if we can get a Shemitic Hebrew understanding of this word called seed. Let's see if we can grab something out of here. Hebrew word for seed. That's what we want to peep at. Let me see what we can get. And say that word ain't even in the dictionary. Oh boy, that's something else. Let me see what the English words say there. Let's see what this English definition is of this called seed. It reads, this is from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, online dictionary, and it reads, the grains or ripened ovules of plants used for sowing. Now that ain't the one I want. That ain't the one I want. Something, let me see, such as a tiny particle or a bubble in glass. That ain't the one I want. Let me see if I can find what. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for around here now. I know time is getting away, but we want to find out what this word seed, if we can get a biblical understanding of the word seed. Word seed. Let me see if I can do it this way. Let's see if we can get it this way, my brothers. Biblical. Let's see what we can get from this. Now, it's been a hard days and nights, but we're going to get through this thing sooner or later. Let me see. They said the word you enter isn't in the dictionary. Click on a spelling suggestion. See, it ain't in the dictionary. Oh, boy, ain't that something? Let me see. What did I do wrong? Let's try it now. Let me see if I can pull something out of the mix. Still nothing. So let's go grab that word generation. See what we can get from that word, if anything. Generation. Let's see what that means. We're going to look at the all of the people born and living at about the same time, regarded collectively. Now, they don't really answer the question there. Let's look at Wikipedia, what they got to say. A generation. Let me see where you at. A generation is all of the people born and living at about the same time, regarded collectively. Now, that don't make no sense to me. Generation is also a synonym for birth, age, cohort. Now, that don't make no sense. The word generate comes from the Latin generi, meaning to beget. There we go. To beget. The word generation as a group or cohort in social science specifies the entire body of individuals born and living at about the same time, and most of whom are approximately the same age. Now that's going into some stuff we really don't need. The word we wanted to get means to beget. Now let's look at that word beget. Let's see what we can get from that word now. We just laying the foundation. We're going to get to this thing. Beget is what we want to peep at. Beget. This is from the Topical Encyclopedia. The term beget is a significant word found throughout the genealogical records in the Bible, particularly in the Old Testament. It is derived from the Shemitic Hebrew word yalad, Y-A-L-A-D, which means to bring forth or to bear. In the context of the Bible, beget is used to denote the act of fathering a child, and it is most prominently featured in the genealogies that traces the lineage of key biblical figures, my brothers. Now, it would behoove me to kind of hold on to this, my brothers. It behooves me to put this in my repertoire somewhere. I'm going to put it at the top so I can get back to it when I need it, my brothers, my sisters, my people. I want to reread this, though. Let me read a little bit more of this, rather. I know we're in overtime, but nevertheless, like I say, we had about the 45-minute of part number 1 of part number 3. We had a complete crash. So we had to go and redo this thing. We had to come with a part number 2 of part number 3. My brothers, my sisters, my people. Biblical usage. The use of beget is most notable, seen in the genealogies of Genesis, Chronicles, and the Gospels. These genealogies serve to establish the lineage of important biblical characters, demonstrating the fulfillment of Yahweh's promises through successive generations. The genealogies also underscore the historical and covenantal I can't even say that word. Continuity from Adam through the patriarch to the nation of Israel, and ultimately to Yahweh, the Hamashahich. My brothers, my sisters, my people. If you search long enough, you eventually find what you need, right? Gonna go back to that Matthew chapter 1, verse number 1. The book of the generations of Yahweh the Hamashahich, the anointed one, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Verse number 2. Abraham begat Isaac. Isaac begat Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. And Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. Let's drop down to verse number 15. The book of St. Matthew's 1, verse 15. And it reads, and Eliud begat Eleazar, and Eleazar begat Mathan. Mathan begat Jacob. Verse number 16. And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yahweh, the Hamashahich, who is called the Anointed One. Let me reread that, because this plain English to me. Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yahweh, the Hamashahich, who is called the Anointed One. Let's look at this. Let's see if we can get a little bit of this in tonight. Matthew 1, verse 17. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David until the carried away into Babylon are 14 generations. And from Babylon, and from the carried away into Babylon until Yahweh, the Hamashahich, the Anointed One, the one you call sweet baby Jesus, are 14 generations. Now the birth of Yahweh the Hamashahich was on this wise, when as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the righteous spirit. My brothers. Now what do he mean by she was found with child of the righteous spirit? Let's run to the book of Isaiah. Let's see if we can define that statement. She was found with child of the righteous spirit. Now the wording should be different. The translators made a grave error in the way they translated that phrase, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Let's see. What do he mean by she was found with child of the righteous spirit? We're going to go to the book of Isaiah chapter 9. We're going to pick it up at verse number 6. Isaiah 9, verse number 6. And it reads, book of Isaiah 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Yahweh, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Verse number 7. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forevermore. The zeal of Yahweh of hosts shall perform this, my brothers. So the prophecy was already out about the child. That's what it means by she was found with child that was already prophesied by the Holy Ghost. My brothers, let's rightly divide the word of truth. She was found with child. It was prophesied that this boy would come forth. Let's run to the book of Galatians. Galatians chapter 4. Let's put this thing together. Now the birth of the Hamashahich, the anointed one, the one you call sweet baby Jesus, was on this wise. The book of Galatians chapter 4, verse 4. And it reads, but when the fullness of time was come, Yahweh sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law. So he was made up under the law. When the fullness of time had come, when the time was set, Yahweh sent forth his son, made of a woman. What woman? Is this talking about Mother Mary? What woman is this referring to? Go run to Revelation chapter 12. Let's see who brought forth the man-child. Revelation chapter 12, verse number 1. And it reads, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Verse number 2. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. Let's see if we can make it make sense. Verse number 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh, and have the testimony of Yahweh, the Hamashahich. So the dragon was wroth with this woman. Let's just make it plain as can be. What woman brought forth this man-child? Go run back to Isaiah 54. And we want to peep right at verse number 6. Isaiah 54, verse number 6. And it reads, for Yahweh have called, let's pick it up a little earlier than that. I need to get a name on the table. Let me grab a name on the table, if at all possible. The book of Isaiah chapter 54, verse number 1. Sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that did not travail with child. For more the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith Yahweh. Verse number 2. Enlarge the place of thy tents, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitation. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. Verse 3. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the nations, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Verse number 4. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shall not remember the reproach of thy widowhood any more. Verse 5. For thy maker is thy husband, Yaakov of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the righteous one of Israel. Yahweh of the whole earth shall he be called. Verse number 6. For Yahweh have called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth when thou wast refused, saith Yahweh. So what is this woman that brought forth the man-child? The one that symbolized by the sun, the moon, and the 12 stars. My brothers, my sisters. Let's see if we can get a little bit more in before we get ready to officially shut it down. I want to go back to that Matthews chapter 1. Let's see if we can get back to Matthews. We want to get back to that Matthews chapter 1. And we're going to pick it up at verse number 16. Let's see if we can investigate this thing. Matthews chapter 1, verse number 16. And it reads, Matthews chapter 1, verse 16. And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yahweh, who is called the Hamashahich. Let's peep at this. Let's see about this guy called Joseph. Let's see about this guy called Joseph. We're going to run to the book of Matthew chapter 13. Matthew chapter 13. And we want to peep at verse number 52. We're going to pick it up at verse number 52. Matthew 13, verse number 52. If we're going to believe what the words say, we're going to formulate our own doctrine, my brothers, my sisters. Matthew 15, verse 52 reads, Then said he unto them, Therefore, every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old. Verse number 53. And it came to pass that when Yahweh, the Hamashahich, had finished these parables, he departed thence. Verse 54. And when he was coming to his own country, he taught them in their temple, insomuch that they were astonished and said, Whence hath this man this wisdom and these mighty works? Verse number 55. Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not this his, and not his mother called Mary? And his brethren, James and Joas, Simon and Judas. Verse number 56. And his sisters, are they not all with us? Which then have this man all these things? So they said that he was the carpenter's son. My brothers, my sisters, my people. Let's peep at the book of Luke. Let's look at a bit of this Luke chapter 1. And we want to peep at verse number, about verse number 26. Luke chapter 1, verse number 26. Let's see if we can just dissect this thing. And in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from Yahweh unto a city of Galilee named Nazareth. So what is it about this 6th month? What's going on with this 6 months? Let's see if we can figure it out. We're going to pick it up at verse number 24. The book of Luke chapter 1, verse 24. And after those days, his wife Elizabeth conceived and hid herself 5 months, saying, verse number 25, thus have Yahweh dealt with me in the days wherein he looked on me to take away my reproach among men. Verse number 6, and it reads, and in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from Yahweh unto a city of Galilee named Nazareth. So this month is indicating that this is the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy. My brothers, my sisters, let's see if we can search the scriptures and see what's so. Luke chapter 1, verse 27. To a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. So the one that was of the house of David was Joseph, and the virgin's name was Mary. Let's peep at that. Let's see if we can, let me see if I can deal with that. And the virgin's name was Miriam. Let's see if we can deal with that. I want to go and pull out the Bible Hub, and we want to read that verse in the Bible Hub. Luke chapter 1, verse 27. Let's see if we got that still on deck, or did that crash? All right, we got it still on deck. We want to look at Luke, the book of Luke. We want people at Luke. Let me see if I can work this thing now. We want to look at, oh, what the heck is that? I mean, we got all kind of issues tonight. We want to look at that Luke chapter 1, verse number 27. Luke chapter 1. We want to peep at that verse number 27. Luke, let me see if I can get to it now. Luke chapter 1, we want to look at that verse number 27. Now, in the New International Version, it reads, to a virgin pledged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of David. The virgin's name was Mary. Now, in the New Living Translation, it reads, to a virgin named Mary. She was engaged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of King David. So it don't say nothing about Mary being a descendant of David. My brothers, let's see a couple of more translations. From the English Standard Version, to a virgin betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. Berean Standard Bible, to a virgin pledged in marriage to a man named Joseph, who was of the house of David. King James Version, to a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. Now let's see if we can get some information on that particular phrase there, my brother. Let me see what I can pull out. Well, I don't even know how to deal with this thing. So we're going to have to come back another day. I don't even know how to operate this thing, but I know I want to get to the interlinear. That's where I wanted to get to in that verse 127. And let me see. To a virgin. Let's see. Now that word virgin. Let me see if we can take a peep at that word called virgin. Let me see if I can get to it. I mean, I handle this thing, so let me see if I can. Let me see. How do you do this now? All right. I guess, well, I don't know. I'm going to have to come back with that one. But let's go back to that Luke. Luke, we're going to close out with this. Luke chapter, where were we at? Luke chapter 1, verse 27. To a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David, and the virgin name was Mary. Verse number 28 reads, the book of Luke chapter 1. Oh, now, don't act up now. Verse 28. And the angel came in unto her and said, Hail, thou that art highly favored, Yahweh is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. Verse number 29. And when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying, and cast in her mind what manner of salutation this should be. Verse 30. And the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with Yahweh. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb. Let's peep at that word, conceive, my brothers. In all thy getting, get understanding. Let's peep at that word called conceive. Let me see if I can get to it with the quickness, my brothers. I'm having all kind of issues tonight. This thing don't want to pop in for me. I want to grab that word called conceive. Let me see if we can get some understanding. This word called, what does it mean to conceive? That's what I really want to. Dang, where did the word go? What happened to it? What happened? I mean, I'm having issues tonight. Let me see. All right. All right, there we go. Conceive. I want to get the definition of the word conceive. Create an embryo by fertilizing an egg. Form or device a plan or idea in the mind. Let me see if I can go to Miriam. Let's see what Miriam say. Let's see what the word means. To become pregnant with young. To cause to begin. To take into one's mind. To form a conception. Apprehend by reason or imagination. To have as an opinion. To become pregnant. To become pregnant. We'll go with that. Let me get back to this Luke. We're going to get ready to shut this one down. We had time of it tonight. But nevertheless, let me go back to that KJV. We want to look at that Luke. Where were we at now? Luke chapter 1, verse 31. And behold, thou shalt conceive. And the word conceive means become pregnant in thy womb, and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Yahweh, the Hamashahich. He shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Highest. And Yahweh shall give unto him the throne of his father David. Verse number 33. He shall reign over the family of Jacob, Israel forever, and of his kingdom there shall be no end. We want to run to the book of Acts. Acts chapter 2. We want to find about this guy that would come through the lineage of David. Acts chapter 2. Let me see if that's what we need. Acts chapter 2. Let me peep at that right quick. We're going to get ready to shut this one down, but I had all kind of issues. The system that's totally crashed. So I was prepared. I swear I had everything lined up in order. But my system crashed tonight, so I had to make do with what I got. We're going to go to the book of Acts 2. And we want to peep at verse number 25. We want to read this. Because we read that he would come through the lineage of his father David. My brothers. The book of Acts chapter 2, verse 25. For David speaketh concerning him. I foresaw Yahweh always before my face, for he is on my right hand, that I should not be moved. Verse 26. Therefore did my mind rejoice, and my tongue was glad. Moreover also my flesh shall rest in hope. Verse 27. Because thou wilt not leave. Let me see if I done went too far with this or what. I had everything lined up. I was prepared. Like the scriptures say we ought to be. And then I had a total crash. My brothers, my sisters, my people that set me back. Well, we on the right track. We can continue to read. Acts chapter 2, verse 27. Because thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thy righteous one to see corruption. Verse 28. They have made known to me the ways of life. Thou shalt make me full of joy with thy countenance. Verse 29. Men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulchre is with us unto this day. Verse 30. Therefore, being a seer, prophet, and knowing that Yahweh has sworn with an oath to him that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he will raise up Yahweh the Hamashahich to sit on his throne. So let's go see what Yahweh swore to David, my brothers, my sisters. Let's see. Where did he swear to David? In the book of Psalms, chapter 132. Psalm 132, verse number 1. Let's peep at this thing. Let's inspect it. Let's rightly divide the word of truth. Psalm 132, verse 1. The song of degrees. Yahweh remembered David and all his affliction. Verse number 2. The book of Psalm 132, verse number 2. How he swore unto Yahweh and vowed unto the mighty Yahweh of Israel. Verse number 3. Surely I will not come into the tabernacle of my house, nor go up into my bed. Verse 4. I will not give sleep to mine eyes, or slumber to my eyelids, until I find out a place for Yahweh, a habitation for the mighty Yahweh of Israel. verse number 6. Lo, we have heard of it at Ephratah. We found it in the fields of the wood. Go drop down to verse number 11. Let's see what he swore to David. The book of Psalm 132, verse 11. Yahweh has sworn in truth unto David. He will not turn from it. Of the fruit of your body will I sit upon your throne. What is the fruit of David's body? That is his seed, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Let's grab one more in the book of 2 Samuel chapter 7. We're going to get right down to it, verse 12. 2 Samuel chapter 7. We want to peep right at verse number 12. 2 Samuel 7, verse 12. Is we going to believe Yahweh's word, or is we going to formulate something in our own brain based on a couple of statements in Matthew and a couple of statements in Luke? We read that this thing was told by the prophets, by the seers. And wasn't Samuel a seer? Hallelujah. What did the seers say? 2 Samuel 7, verse 12. And when thy days be fulfilled. Now this is Samuel sending a message to David. I think this is Nathan, the seer. Let me see. Let me pick it up at verse number 1. Let's get the players in the game. 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse number 1. And it came to pass when the king sat in his house, and Yahweh had given him rest round about from all his enemies. Verse number 2. That the king said unto Nathan, the seer, see now, I dwell in a house of cedar, but the ark of Yahweh dwelleth within curtains. Verse number 3. And Nathan said to the king, go, do all that is in thy mind, for Yahweh is with thee. Now we're going to drop down to verse 12. This is Nathan the seer bringing a message to David, the king. Let's see what he say. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of your bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. Verse number 13. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. My brothers, who was this seed that came through the loins of David to sit on his throne? This is talking about prophesying of the Hamashahich, the anointed one. Now I want to run to a scripture right quick. We want to run to the book of Romans chapter 9. I'm going to get a couple of more in before I shut it out. Romans chapter 9. It's a statement in the book of Romans chapter 9. I want to see if I can get right down to it. Romans chapter 9, verse number 19. Let's peep at this thing. Romans chapter 9, verse 19. Because we read in Galatians 4:4, when the fullness of time was come, this child was to come forth, made of a woman. And in this case, we rightly divide, this woman was he came through the nation of Israel, my brother, through the bloodline of David, King of Israel, came through his loins, my brothers, my sisters. We want to run to the Romans chapter 9, verse number, because Miriam, she made a statement in Luke. Romans chapter 9, verse number 19. We get back there. I'm gonna see how much of this I can get in before I give up. Romans chapter 9, verse number 19 reads, Thou wilt say then unto me, whether he yet find fault, for who have resisted his will. Verse number 20. Nay, but, O man, who art thou that replies against Yahweh? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, Why hast thou made me thus? Verse 21. Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another vessel unto dishonor? So Yahweh can bring forth whatever spirit he desires. We're going to run to 2 Chronicles. We're going to get a second witness. In 2 Chronicles 20, my brothers, my sisters, who can resist Yahweh's will? 2 Chronicles chapter 20. We want to peek right at verse number 6. My brothers, my sisters, my people. 2 Chronicles 20, verse 6. And said, O Yahweh, Yahweh of our fathers, art not thou Yahweh in heaven, and rulest not thou over all the kingdoms of the nations? And in thy hand is there not power and might, so that none is able to withstand thee. And we read that it was prophesied that this child would be born. The son will be given. He will come through the bloodline of David according to the flesh. He will come through the bowels. That means through reproductive organism, my brothers, my sisters. We're going to get one more and we're going to shut it down. I want to run to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. We're going to pick it up at verse number 1. Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, chapter 1, verse number 7 reads, Now Solomon, let me see if we can go get Solomon's credentials in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 7, I believe. Let's see if we can grab Solomon's credentials in 1 Kings chapter 7. Is that the one I want, or is it in chapter 6? Let me peep at it. We want to get this in, my brothers, my sisters. We got behind because 40 minutes into the broadcast, we had a complete, total crash, my brothers. So we had to go back and reestablish, reset, prepare everything over again and try to get it in. I want to read a statement about Solomon. If I can pull it out in the book of 1 Kings. Let me see where that statement is. 1 Kings chapter 3. Let's see if we can pull this out. 1 Kings chapter 3. And we're going to pick it up at verse number... verse number 6. 1 Kings chapter 3, verse number 6. We want to get Solomon's credentials. You know, his PhD. Where did you get your PhD from, Solomon? 1 Kings 3, verse 6. And Solomon said, Thou hast showed unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of mind with thee. And thou hast kept for him this great kindness. Thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. Verse number 7. And thou, O Yahweh, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David, my father, and I am but a little child. Now the historical records say that Solomon was 19, 20 years old, a young man when he became king of the 12 tribes of Israel. About 19, 20, 21, in that neighborhood. He was a little child. He hadn't matured yet, in other words. I know not how to go out or to come in. Verse number 8. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Verse number 9. Give therefore thy servant an understanding mind to judge your people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? Verse number 10. And the speech pleased Yahweh, that Solomon had asked this thing. Verse number 11. And Yahweh said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for the life for thyself, long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked the life of thine enemies, but asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Verse 12. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding mind, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like thee. So Solomon was given wisdom from the Most High Yahweh. So now let's go read this wisdom that he received in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. And we're going to shut it down with this. So I got to get busy preparing some things for the 8th day celebration of the Feast of Dedication, which will be tomorrow from evening to evening. Shall you celebrate your Shabbats? Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 1. I myself also am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. So Solomon was able to trace his lineage all the way back to Adam. Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 2. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man. Now we want to peep at that phrase, the seed of man. We want to see if we can pull that out, my brothers. Let me see if I can get a line on that statement of the seed of man. Let me see if we can get a line now on that statement. What do that mean? Let me peep at that. In the biblical, the term seed of man is often associated with the biological and divine aspect of human existence. It signifies the biological element necessary for human reproduction. My brothers, let me read a little bit more. I better go ahead and collect that because it's going to come in use down the line, my brother. Let me go and collect that. And let me put that in my repertoire. I want to put it at the top of the list. Like I said, I was ready to go. I was all prepared, as the scriptures say. Prepare what to say and then make an answer. The seed of man, from a biblical perspective, it reads, the term seed of man is often associated with the biological and divine aspect of human existence. It signifies the biological element necessary for human reproduction, which was uniquely circumvented. Well, we ain't gonna get into that because it wasn't uniquely circumvented, no way. Because Solomon gonna tell us what went down, the wisest man that ever lived. We ain't gonna buy into that program. Let's go back to that Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Where you at, Wisdom of Solomon? Chapter 7. And we want to peep right at verse number 2. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man, and the pleasure that came with sleep. Verse number 3. And when I was born, I drew in the coming air, fell upon the earth, which is of like nature. And the first voice which I uttered was crying, as all others do. Verse number 4. I was nursed in swaddling clothes, and that with cares. Verse number 5. For there is no king that have any other beginning of birth. Verse 6. For all men have one interest into the life, and the light going out. So you come in one way, and all men get up out of here the same way. My brothers, my sisters, my peoples. I think we're going to let it ride right about there. My brothers, we done put in another 2 hours on top of that. Part number 1 or part number 3, 45 minutes. So we got 2 hours and almost 3 hours worth of recording tonight. So all praises be to the Most High Yahweh. And in pardon, we're going to say to the 12 tribes of Israel that scattered to the 4 corners of the globe, Yahweh be with you, and Yahweh bless you. Shalom, shalom, shalom. City, well, by and by. Let me tell you what the kingdom of heaven will be. Rulership for you, rulership for me. And for what all is worth, kingdom will be right here on earth. Para